So, is it really him or is it a trick? Let's talk about it. What's up, people? Welcome back to Black Geek Cool. Today we're talking about Wandavision episode 5 on a very special episode. It's one of those special sitcom episodes where you learn about drugs or drug addiction, homelessness, pedophiles, one of those kind of episodes when they tell you something special in a sit down moment. So this is a really cool little thing they did with that. But before we dive into that, go ahead and hit 5 stars if you're listening to the audio version of this episode, or hit the like button if you're listening to it on YouTube. Just a warning, we're going to spoil the episode, so if you haven't listened to the episode or haven't watched the episode, pause this, go watch it, and come back. Also, share the channel, let everybody know about Black Geek Cool, check out the podcast, all the good stuff. That's the best way to support us here. I'm rambling, but got to get all this intro stuff out the way so you guys know what to do. So share it. Share it. Anyway, let's get into this episode, guys. Let's dive in. So we come back to sitcom, and we start off, I think it's a 90s sitcom. We got Wanda with the babies. Clearly, baby's been crying, so she's trying to get him to settle down. Vision comes in with one of the babies, and she's like, hey, these babies been crying like crazy. And there's a little cute moment where they're trying to dance it with the crying baby. So, like, their love is genuine. They genuinely love each other. Vision just doesn't seem to know what's going on, but they love each other. So Wanda's like, hey, can you get the binkies? So Vision goes to get the binkies. He puts one of the babies down. Wanda is about to use her magic on the babies to try to get them to go to sleep, and it doesn't work, which is something to pay attention to. The fact that her magic doesn't work on these twins that came from her body. Crazy. So that's something you picked up real quick. Pay attention to. Vision comes back with the binkies in his ear. A little cute joke there. And then out of nowhere, Vision says something about it's weird that people kind of show up or pop around or something like that. And then out of nowhere, Agnes pops up to the house, trying to help with the babies. And Vision has to turn himself, because he was in Vision mode, he had to turn himself back to a human being. And then Agnes is there. She's like, hey, you want me to help you with these babies? Something about her, she was like, yeah, I forget her husband Ralph says, yeah, nothing can tame this tiger, something stupid, weird. She's a weird neighbor that does weird stuff. And then, Vision was like, when was the last time you washed your hands? Did you do this? Or did you do that? Never mind, maybe you shouldn't touch the babies. And then Agnes breaks character and looks at Wanda and was like, do you want me to get the babies? Do you want me to go back? Should we take another take? You want me to say something different? And Wanda's like, oh, what are you talking about? And Vision notices this. We notice it too, but Vision notices it. She eventually goes back into character, and Vision's like, Wanda, did you see that? She was like, see what? She was like, Agnes coming over, helping us with the baby. That's a good neighbor. No, did you see that moment where she was confused? No, she's just confused because of the crying. There's nothing to be worried about. So Vision's kind of pointing at it, and then Agnes is doing some commotion, and she's getting some liquor, and they were like, why are you getting liquor? And she was like, this liquor's not for me, it's for the babies. And we're like, well, what are we doing? You know that old trick, dab the baby's binky in the rum and supposed to help them sleep. Don't do that, people. Terrible parenting. Don't do that. You just deal with the crying. Trust me, I've been there. But in the process of them kind of arguing about what happened with Agnes, and Agnes kind of doing weird stuff with the kids, there's a moment where the kids stop crying, and you turn back to the kids, you find out they aged themselves up to be 5 years old. The kids have their own power. If you don't know about the comic books, her kids do have power, but I didn't know they had the power to age themselves. So that was weird. But nobody seemed to be weirded out about it. Even Agnes made a weird joke about it, like, well, they grow so fast or something like that. 1 minute they're just small, something like that. It was weird. But now we have Tommy and Billy are 5 years old now. Crazy. But we go back into the real world and we see... I forgot the title sequence comes up. So I think it's Family Ties, and something else is doing that thing where they show each character as they age from like babies and their pictures and stuff like that. They do it with Wanda, they do it with Tommy, they do it with Billy, and they do it with Vision, which they have a baby Vision. It's hilarious. I thought they were gonna show like something from Tony Stark's room showing like Jarvis, because that's Vision who he was, but no, they had a baby Vision. These girls, it was weird and cute. But I couldn't place this title sequence per se, because I didn't really watch Family Ties. I know about Family Ties, Michael J. Fox, blah blah this, and I think it had some other sitcom show that I didn't really watch. I'm not sure. What was the one with the other guy? I don't know. But, yeah, that was the title sequence. So, it was alright to me. It hit me with no nostalgia feeling. I thought the little Vision part was funny. But that is what it is. Then we go back to reality in the real world where they're doing tests on Monica Rambeau, trying to see what's happened to her since she's got out of the hex, and seeing if she is okay, doing blood work, doing labs and stuff. And she describes how it felt to be in the hex, and that how Wanda was in control of her, and it hurt, and she wasn't able to do what she wants, and it hurt. Like, she said that a couple times, but then she also was like, I think Wanda is in pain as well, and that she didn't mean for it to happen. But it was really like still weird. It's kind of weird. She's telling this to I forgot his name. Randall Park's character. I forgot his name. It'll come to me later when I'm talking. But she's telling this to Randall Park's character and Dr. Lewis, aka Darcy. And then they're like, yeah, this is the. Monica's like, yeah, I need to get back in there. And she says, Darcy's like, I don't know if you can go back or if you should go back because it's kind of messed up your molecules. And that's when we see the little lab tech in there is like, we need to do another scan because your scans are coming up blank and like something's wrong with the machine. So that's a sign that we need to pay attention to Marcy because something's going on with her body. The whatever the hex is happening, whatever going through that portal is changing her body. So this might be the start of her origin, because if you don't know, she in the comic books has powers, so this could be that. Super interesting. And Monica's like, forget it, we ain't got time for this. I'm not getting tested. Whatever, we'll deal with whatever it is. She goes to brief Tyler Hayward about what she felt, and he's like, well, Monica says that Wanda is in control and taking hostage of these people, and she's a terrorist. And Monica's like, I didn't say she was a terrorist. She doesn't have any political beliefs she's doing this for. I think she's just doing this out of grief or something. And Hayward is like, whatever, we got to take her down. And then he shows her a video of Wanda, I think they said 9 days ago, broke out Vision's dead body from Sword. Which Sword was doing some weird stuff with it. So what y'all doing with his body, Sword? Apparently Vision had something in he didn't want to be used as a weapon, or if he died, he doesn't want to be brought back online or something like that. So Sword was doing something weird in them videos, because they had pieces of them all over the place, like they were experimenting on him or trying to jumpstart him or do something. But then Wanda came in and stole his body, and he was like, she's reanimated him, so clearly that's against his wishes. But y'all was doing something against y'all his wishes too, so don't act like y'all not a part of that. But then we go back into the sitcom and we see Tommy and Billy hiding a dog, washing it up, and they're like, yeah, maybe mama let us keep it, but we got to keep it quiet. That's when Wanda comes in. She's like, what are you guys doing? They're trying to be sneaky. And the sitcom, even though a lot of people don't like the sitcom aspect of the show, it's on point. It's on point. It's very nostalgic, makes you think of other sitcoms back in the day. It's very on point. So they played a little music, and she's like, you two guys are never still. She does a great job with them being their mother. She really does. She sees the dog, and she's like, I don't think you guys are old enough for a dog. And they're like, come on, Mom, please, please, please. And then Vision comes in, and he's like, what's this hairy animal in our kitchen? And they're like, I guess they're trying to get Vision to let them get the dog. And just then Vision, he said it again. He's like, just when he didn't say anything first, Agnes popped in with the doghouse, and he was like, the very thing we needed just when we needed. Isn't that weird? And Wanda was like, oh no, Agnes is just being neighborly. And they're trying to come up with the name for the dog, and they come up with the name Sparky because he was messing with the outlet and it started sparking, so they call him Sparky. I think that name might have something else to do with something, because I know Agnes might have a son named Sparky in the comic books. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe. But they came up with the name. Wanda does her magic and makes a collar right in front of Agnes. And Vision's like, hold on, Wanda, why are you doing that in front of Agnes? Agnes could have saw that. She was like, oh, no worries, she didn't see it. And he was like, well, we decided not to show our powers, to hide our powers. And she's like, well, I'm tired of hiding my powers, and maybe you shouldn't have to hide our powers too. And he's like, Wanda, usually we're on the same page, but right now I feel like we're miles apart. Why are you not doing what we've already decided to do? And why are you doing this? And this is weird. And what happened after that? She kind of blows it off. And then the kids are still asking about the dog. And then Vision's like, well, you guys can't have the dog until you're old enough. You got to be at least 10 years old to have a dog. And the Tommy and Billy aged themselves up to 10 years old. It is crazy. Like, this is crazy. And, Agnes had a little joke. Hopefully the dog stays small. It's hilarious, but it's weird. I didn't know they can do that. I don't know if they gotta be doing it, because they looked at each other and they aged up. So they have to be doing it, which is really weird. But then we go to a scene where we see Monica trying to plan a way to get back into the Hex. And she says something about a astrophysics engineer. So this can be a clue of somebody in the Marvel Cinematic Universe coming up, a new character. Reed Richards is an engineer. Could be Pym. Could be Bruce Banner. Could be coming in there too. A couple different people. I don't know if we're gonna see that in this. That'd be really cool if we see another new character. But in the process of that, Darcy's telling her again, like, I don't think you should go back in. I'm really worried about your molecules and what the changes that Hex is doing to your body. I still can't remember Randall Park's character, but she's like, I'm not worried about that. And then at some point they realized that everything in the Hex is real, that Wanda's changing it. So they're like, if she's doing that, she's using so much power. Monica puts in a little thing saying that, she was almost powerful to bring down Thanos if he didn't do the Blitz. And then Randall Park's character says, well, Captain Marvel could have beat Thanos up too. And Monica had this disdain look on her face when he talked about Captain Marvel and was like, "Oh, we're not talking about her." And they both looked at each other like, what's her beef with Captain Marvel? So Monica clearly has some kind of beef with Captain Marvel. I don't know what it is. We'll hopefully see it eventually. But they eventually they go back to the lab and look at Monica's clothes, figures out that the molecule's been changed because she went in with a Kevlar vest. So that's how they figure out that Wanda's changing stuff in there and that everything's real, which is ridiculous. If she's using that much power, it's a wow. They all agree that this is more power than she normally has in the universe. She's never shown this much power. Which is crazy. But then we go back into the sitcom. Vision's at work. For some reason, he's at work. He's working on the computer. The computer gets a message from SWORD talking about Wanda Maximoff, about the Hex, and what's going on with the residents of Westview. And when he got the email, everybody in the office read the email in a cohesive voice, which is very weird. And then they start laughing like it was a joke. And then Vision released Norm from who's ever controlling him, and he just freaks out. He's like, please help me, how long has it been? You gotta stop her, she's in my head, you gotta stop her, where's my phone, I need to call my sister. Norm is freaking out. He's like, you just gotta stop her. And Vision's like, calm down, Norm. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. He's like, it's all her. You need to stop her. And he puts him back in. So Vision is trying to figure out what is going on. He doesn't know, but he's slowly starting to piece stuff together. So it seems like Wanda doesn't control him. Because I know later in the episode she talks about, he says, you can't control me like you control them. And she says, oh, you don't think so? But we're kind of jumping ahead. So before we get there, the team, Monica, Randall Park's character, I forget his name, and Dr. Lewis figure if they send something into the Hex that is of that time frame, it won't get changed. So they send in a drone. They try to talk to Wanda. When the drone goes in, Wanda's talking to her kids on the couch, and they're teaching the dog tricks, and they're like, where is Dad? And like, Dad's at work. And they were like, on a Saturday? And she was like, well, Dad needed something to distract him. And he was like, distract him from us? And she was like, no, you guys are great. Dad and me are just not on the same page right now, but we're always family. And then Wanda senses the drone. She goes outside, gets red eyes. They're trying to talk to her. And I guess Tyler Hicks put a weapon on the drone without Monica knowing. And he was like, fire, shoot. And then the screen went blank. And then we go out. We hear the alarms. We go outside the Hex. Wanda's bringing the drone outside the Hex in her regular Avengers outfit. She's talking to her Sokovia voice, and she's like, I tell y'all to leave me alone. She like, I warned y'all, leave my this is my place, leave it alone. Hicks is like, you have so many hostages, we have to stop you. You're a threat. And she's like, I'm not the one here with guns here. She's like, I'm not gonna tell you again. Leave my place alone. I'm not messing with y'all. Don't mess with my stuff. Monica's trying to talk to her. Like, she's like, look, Wanda, whatever's going on, we can help you. We're here to help you. I didn't know they had weapons on that. I just wanted to talk to you. You let me in. My phone vibrated. You let me in. And I want to help you. Let me help you. She was like, you help me by staying out. I got what I want, and no one's going to take it from me. And then she does this thing where she takes over the minds of all the guys there with guns, and they turn their guns on Hayward. And Hayward's like, oh, stand down. It was a very Magneto moment from X-Men 2 or X-Men 1. Very cool moment. And then she's like, leave me alone. She goes back into the Hex, but before she does, she touches it and turns it red because it was kind of blue, and she turns it red. I don't know if that's significant, but it's very weird. Then we have the commercial of this episode where it's Lagos. Yeah, I guess it has to do with mistakes you didn't mean to make and cleaning it up. It was a paper towel thing. I didn't notice this before, but somebody's brought this up, that the lady in the commercial is the same lady every time, and the man in the commercial is the same man every time. Somebody theorized that might be Wanda's parents. I'm not 100% sure, but this has to deal with Captain America Civil War, when Wanda killed those people by accident, and that started the whole COVID Accord. So it's clear these commercials have to do with Wanda's past history and stuff, what she went through. Crazy. But then we get back into the episode. Sparky, for some reason, ran away. The kids are outside looking for Sparky. They find him at Agnes's house in bushes, but Agnes has him, says he's dead. He was eating leaves or something like that. And the boys get sad and like, Mom, this sucks. And they're about to age themselves up to not deal with the pain. And she's like, no, you can't do that. You can't run away from the pain. You have to deal with it. And they're like, no, we don't want to deal with it. Can't you bring it back? Mom, you're super powerful. You can fix this. You can fix death. And Agnes is like, you can fix death? And she's like, no, death is inevitable. It happens. It's something you have to deal with. But they're like, you did it with Dad, and Agnes is like in the back looking like, what's going on? But she's like, no, you can't do that. And then Vision comes along and he sees what's going on and he hugs his boys. And then we get back to Wanda's house. Vision's cleaning up and it's like, the boys had a hard day. It's not one day you get a dog and bury it in the same day. But then Vision's like, I talked to Norm. I talked to real Norm. What's going on, Wanda? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, dear. I'm getting tired and ready for bed. And he's like, no, we need to talk about this. You can't control me like you control them. And she's like, you don't think I can? And then she rolls the credits on the episode. But they're still talking. Vision's like, no, we're going to still talk. What is going on? Why can't I remember anything? And the credits are going up and he leaves. They go into another room and he's still like, what's going on? And he floats up in the air like Wanda. He's yelling there. She floats up and he's like, I'm scared. I want to know what's going on. And she's like, what do you think I'm doing? Controlling everybody, getting people to dentist appointments, getting them over here, telling them to go here. She's just snapping out. She's like, I'm not doing all this. And he's like, Wanda, I want to believe you did this accidentally and then you just start rolling with it. But I can't help anything if you won't tell me what's going on. And she's like, I'm not doing all this. And then right then and there, they're arguing. The doorbell rings. And we see, she's like, I didn't do that. And he was like, statistically, I can't believe you're not doing this. She's like, fine. You won't believe I did it anyway. She goes to open the door. And it's Pietro at the door. And he's not regular Pietro. He's not MCU Pietro that we know who died in Age of Ultron. He's Fox X-Men Pietro. Crazy. He's like, hey, can a guy hug his little sister to death? He said death, which is really weird words to use. And Darcy's watching this. And she's like, oh my gosh, she recast Pietro. Which is hilarious. So she hugs him. And it's clear that she didn't do this. Like, it's clear in her face that she didn't do this. She doesn't know how he's there. She doesn't know why he's there. She doesn't know how he got there. But then they kind of leave off the episode there where he's like, hey, who's the popsicle? And that's the end of episode 5. Crazy. Super crazy. I am 100% confused of what's going on now. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's the episode. That's my recap review of the episode. As always, guys, thanks for listening. Let me know what you thought about the episode if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, hit me up at Black Geek Cool on Instagram or Twitter. Let me know. Probably gonna do another episode, probably 2 episodes tomorrow because I gotta watch 6 and 7 tonight and then be all caught up for 8 this Friday. So thanks for listening. As always, share Black Geek Cool everywhere, podcast, all that good stuff. Hit the likes, tell people about the channel. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one.